I am going to pass it on to who's teaching tonight? Kelli?
Kelli.
Kelli, go Kelli.
Yay. Okay, so I am teaching tonight, and what a better topic to do than focusing on the finish. So we are in the last week of the last month of our seminar year. And so people who have been in Mary Kay for a while know what that means. People who are new maybe don't know what that means. And so I'm going to hopefully take you a little bit full circle tonight to get you ready for next year at the end of the year, as well as this year as we're finishing. So no matter what time you come into the business or how you come into the business, there's going to be a finish at the end of June every year, because that's when our seminar year ends. And so as a consultant, you are on a unit and you have a director, and then your director has somebody above them if your director isn't directly Denise, and then you have like an area. And a lot of the consultants and directors have national sales directors, and they're in that national sales director area. If you're in our group, we have the Mary Kay national area, which is our nationals. So anytime a national sales director retires and becomes an emeritus, or unfortunately if they passed away or something like that, their area all goes into the national Mary Kay area if they don't have a national. And so the reason I'm kind of telling you this to start out with is because that's important, because you're all part of the group in lots of different ways and areas. And so you might be thinking like, I'm brand new, it's the last week of June and I really don't even have a clue what my goals are. I don't know what I'm thinking about doing or wanting to do, but understand and know that you're still a huge part of your director's unit and the area. And so you have a contribution to this. And then of course, going forward, we all start over July 1st with a brand new slate, and everything gets to go from there. So I am, for anybody who doesn't know me or anybody who finds this on YouTube later, I am Kelli Dart, and I am a consultant at this moment in DIQ, which means Director in Qualification. And I am going to finish that up at the end of June. So July 1st, I get to debut as a director. And that's exciting, and I'm very excited, but it has taken a lot to get here. And so the one thing I wanted to start with tonight is I am going to talk about your feelings wheel and the emotional wheel. Somebody maybe's heard it called that before. And the reason I want to kind of focus on that tonight is because here we are at like the end. We're almost to the finish line. And this is when it gets really important and you start to really dial those things in. And like Denise said earlier, like you can go through so many emotions in a day. And as you get more comfortable and you do more trainings and you learn more, you can kind of get through this emotional wheel a lot faster. But it's very important tonight for us to kind of have a refresher on that, because we are in the last week of the seminar year and there's so many goals that happen in this time period. So all of the handouts that I'm going to go over tonight, I have uploaded onto the Facebook page, not the Inspired Beauty Lounge page that the customers go into, but the Future Inspired or National Area. What is it called? Inspired National Area, I think. It's like our consultant Facebook page. And so I've saved all of this stuff on there as files. Please feel free to go in there, print them out, download them, whatever you want to do. There's some that you can fill things out, and some of them are just mostly like informational too. So I'm going to highlight a couple of them in a little bit more detail, but then a couple of them I'm just going to kind of show you what it is, and then I'm going to refer you back to the Facebook page to print them off and work them at your speed to kind of gear you up and get you ready for next year, in addition to finishing out this year. So on our feelings wheel, and I don't know if this is going to be backwards or forwards for you guys.
This is perfect.
Okay, so on the feelings wheel, we're going to have, it's called feelings wheel, it's called emotional wheel, whatever you guys want to call it. It's been referred to as both in the Mary Kay world. So number one, you're a new beauty consultant. You get to attend success meetings. You send positive feelings to the brain. I can do this. This is awesome. Everything's starting out. We're all on the same page. We're all going to do this. And then we get to number 2 and we're like, oh, I'm a little frustrated. I've maybe had some cancellations. Maybe I've run into a few obstacles along the way. Maybe my friends don't want to book a party as excitedly and as quickly as I had hoped they would. And then I kind of work into number 3, which is shock. And it's like, oh, I can't believe this. I thought this would be so easy. Then you get into number 4. 4 is denial. You kind of withdraw a little bit. You start to do some procrastination stuff. You avoid the success meetings, which is our Tuesday night meetings. You do those kinds of things. You sleep more. You play on your phone more. You do some of those kinds of things. Number 5 moves us into fear. I can't do this. Well, maybe this isn't for me. Selling isn't for me. I can't do it. I'm not this good. Then number 6 comes and we're angry. We're angry. Why didn't they tell me this would be like this? I'm angry. Everybody else has this problem, or nobody else has this problem but me. Everybody else is to blame. They make it look so easy. I can't do this. Then you get to anger part 2, which is number 7. You get angry at yourself. Admit and recognize your feelings. You alone are responsible for your feelings. Number 8 is the last stage, and this is when you get back to level 1. You go, I can do this. I'm going to be here. I can be realistic and do this. I am going to tell myself it's not like me to not reach my goals and become discouraged. So, those are the 8 things on the wheel. And one of the things that's amazing, you guys, is we have so much support in this Mary Kay world that we have. All of the people, we have our co-workers, I guess is how you could word it, our partners, our sisters in the race with us, and we have our directors, and then we have our area director if Denise isn't your direct director. And you guys, this is when you reach out to your people for that builds you back up, that giving you that moment of clarity to remind you why you signed up, to remember that you can do these things and you can do them and you're going to do them and you're going to be great at them. So sometimes this emotional wheel with 8 different things on it can take us quite a while to get through it. I want to say when I first started in Mary Kay in 2019, I probably went through that wheel in like maybe a month or more. And you guys, here I am. I'm in DIQ. It's the last week, and I've gone through this emotional wheel probably 3 times today. So this gets faster, it gets easier, it gets more fine-tuned and dialed in, but just keep in mind that this is there for a reason, and we do go through things for a reason and for a season, and you don't have to stay there. You can move past it, you can move through the wheel, and you can get through it faster. So reach out and get that coaching, get that help, talk to your mentor, talk to your people to help you get through this wheel a little bit faster, because when you're stuck in the wheel, especially as you get into like number 2 into like number 7, you're not doing anything productive and you're kind of sabotaging yourself, and we don't want to stay in those too long. We want to move past those. We want to stay in 1 and 8 and remember why we joined this beautiful business and what we can do and what we need to do. And there's so many tools out there that help us get our stuff really focused and really good and going. So on to my next document. This one is on goal setting. So goal setting, we have to be able to set a goal and we have to have a clear idea of our goal before we can finish it. So we're talking tonight about finishing strong and finishing till the end and focusing all the way to the end. But before we can get to the end, we have to start. So we need to have some goals to get us going. Don't plan a goal that you think your director wants you to do, or you think somebody in your family wants you to do. Pick a goal that you want to do, something that's going to resonate in here with you, something you're going to be passionate about, you're going to be happy about, and you're going to want to complete. So make sure that when you're picking goals out and you're thinking about what you want to do, pick the stuff that's relatable and relevant to you. Don't pick somebody else's dream or somebody else's goal. So this one just kind of goes through, it's got some good stuff on here. Why set goals? And then how to set a goal. And then sometimes your goal could be negative. So if you have too big of a goal, they're out of your sphere of interest, you believe luck is necessary to achieve it, You set your goal by comparing yourself to somebody else's accomplishment. You're doing it for somebody else. Anytime you set a goal with those kinds of concepts in mind, that's going to have a negative effect on your overall goal. So let's really be intentional and let's think about these things when we set our goals to know why we're setting them the way we are and that we're really the ones that are committed to this goal, okay? And then you can have your, it's interesting because here we are in the next little handout and you can kind of see down at the bottom, oh my gosh, there's another emotional wheel that goes with goal setting. So you will see as we kind of go through tonight's training, this really is powerful and you're going to see it kind of thread through a bunch of the different things that we're going to go through tonight, okay? So this one is called goal setting. I posted it on the Facebook page. The next one is going to lead us right into, now we have our goals. Now we're going to kind of focus on our goals a little bit so we know what we're reaching for. Okay, so there's 6 parts of a goal. The excitement. Wow, I'm so excited for this goal. How am I going to achieve this goal? Now, just do it. Ouch. Ugh, do it anyway. Vow. That's your commitment to reach the goal. And pow, that's the victory. That's when it all comes together. That's when dreams are made and dreams come true at the end of the seminar year as we've worked through these things all year long. And now we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. Okay, so wow, we've got the excitement. Yes, we're ready to go. We've signed our commitment agreement for Mary Kay. We're on fire. We want to do everything in the whole wide world that's possible. We want to do everything everybody else has done. How do I do that? Well, we're going to show you how to do some of those things tonight, okay? Now is the time to do it. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not July 1st, right now. There's 7 days left in this month. I think 7 or 8. My math might be off on my head. But regardless, there's still time. There's time today. There's still time tomorrow. There's time all this week till the end of the month. So the time to start doing this kind of stuff is now. Make a goal today. Reach out to one person by the end of the week if that's what you want to do. Reach out to 10, reach out to 20. I mean, you'll see as you get involved in the Mary Kay world a little bit more, you'll start to see these goals. We had a gal on, Jamie Taylor is a national sales director, and she has a director under her. Her name is Chelsea Adkins, and I've followed her for a little while. And Heidi and Rebecca were talking about her today, and she has a pretty cool goal going on right now. And she's done some like phenomenal stuff. And so I kind of copied her last summer, I think, when we were doing the makeup challenges and stuff. And so if you're inspired by somebody else, then set a goal similar and use them as a guide to help you because now they've done it. They've shared their experience with it. So don't reinvent the wheel. Just look to a mentor, look to somebody that you're you are interested in how their journey is going. Don't compare yourself to them and don't try and keep track like they did this and I need to do this and try and keep track that way. Don't do that. You can use them as a mentor and you can use them as a guide, but just keep your focus on your lane. You want to remember that you stay in your own lane on the track. When you see the people running around the track or whatever, there's those lines and they're always on their part of the track. They don't go into the other people's line or whatever that's called. But so you want to stay in your own lane and do the race for you against you and always making yourself better. You'll never fail as long as you continue to try. There's always more. There's always the next day. You can always come back from it. Okay, so we're going to set goals. We've talked a little bit again about all of the 6 parts of a goal. And then we've got the why do we set a goal and then reasons on how to set a goal. So again, for time purposes, this is on the Facebook page. So go print it out, go look at it, do it for yourself. This one is amazing. So now we're kind of in a little bit further into our drive and our reason and our Mary Kay journey. And let's say now we've been in at least a week, because I think everybody on here tonight was on last week's meeting. So everybody at least tonight for this part of this meeting has all been on here at least a week. And we talk about at the beginning our recognition and how do we know how to do the recognition to have our directors recognize us? Well, we have to complete our weekly accomplishment sheets every week, and those are on the Mary Kay in Touch website. So again, this is just another little nice handout. It's a 2-page one, and this goes in and it breaks down the weekly accomplishment sheet, and it tells you what every part means and how to fill it out and what to do. Okay, so we've started setting some goals. We've started making some goals. We're going through this emotional wheel. We're learning what we can do. We're learning what we want to do. We've come across our first week now, and we need to go in and set our weekly accomplishments so we can start tracking stuff. The company doesn't have any way to track anything that we do except for when we order. Well, we all know that some people order and carry inventory, and some people have customers that order off of their websites and different ways. And so there's no real way for the company to track that. So in order for your director to know, you to know, your tax person to know at the end of the calendar year, you need to have some way of tracking information. So this one is a really cool tool for you new people. Maybe it's a reminder from some of the people who've been around before, because there's actually 6 pages of the weekly accomplishment sheet. And I know I really push myself to get it in on time, which I'm not always perfect on. And so sometimes I skip the other pages. I just put in my sales and stuff, and I just kind of submit through the screens. But there's a lot of information, and there's a lot of things that you can track through the weekly accomplishment sheet. So use it as your tool and when you need it. So this is an instruction thing for you, so you guys can learn how to do your weekly accomplishment sheet. Okay, next, we're gonna get into the following up a little bit more in detail. This one is a really cool little script that's got different ways of following up and different things that you can say. So in Mary Kay, we talk about the 2, 2, and 2, which are the follow-up. It's kind of like a little saying that we say. So you want to follow up with when you have a brand new customer and you're doing a facial or you have a meetup with them. The first follow-up you want to do is in 2 days. The second follow-up you want to do is in 2 weeks. And then the third follow-up you want to do is in 2 months. And there's real good science and reasons behind why we do that. So you have a new customer, they've tried the skincare products, they've bought maybe a skincare set. It's really important to check in with them in 2 days, because you want to make sure that they've tried the product, they're happy with the product. Maybe they have questions, and if you don't follow up, they don't have a way to answer those questions. A lot of times people get nervous about that, and they don't want to reach out and look stupid. They feel like they're going to look stupid, and so they don't reach out and ask those questions. So it's our job as the consultant, as their beauty expert, as their customer service representative, to reach out to them and check with them on how their products are working. So 2 days, you want to do that. You want to double check again in 2 weeks. That's kind of giving them about 14 days to have the product on their skin. They maybe should start to see a little bit of a difference within 2 weeks and see how things are going. Check in with them on that. And then we want to follow up at the 2-month mark, because that's about when they're going to be needing a reorder. And so, you guys, one of the things that's amazing with our technology and all of the things that we can do now is these things are accomplishable at your initial appointment with them. They don't know what to expect. They've never been there with you. So what you set up at that moment is going to kind of set the stage for the expectation of what's to come. So when you're meeting with your customer and you're like, okay, well, we're sitting at the closing table, and you're asking them if they have any questions, what they liked, what they maybe wanted to purchase tonight, you can take notes and you can ask them different things. And then you can tell them that you're going to be following up with them in the 2 days, the 2 weeks, and the 2 months. And go ahead and right there in that moment, get those times scheduled. I need to follow up with you. I want to follow up with you in 2 days to check on you, how things are going. Does morning or evening work better? Do you want a phone call? Do you want a text? So you're going to give them options, because you want to be able to give the customer options, and you want them to be able to work within different things because everybody's busy and everybody has a schedule. You want to have flexibility, but you also want to navigate the direction of everything in a positive way. So you don't want to say, "Can I follow up with you in 2 days?"
I don't know how to.
That's not what you want to say. What you want to say,
How do I get out of that?
follow up with you in 2 days. And I would like to know, would you rather that be in the morning or the afternoon or the evening or whatever? Would you rather me call you on the phone? Would you rather me message you by text, Facebook Messenger, direct message, Zoom, all the different ways that you can contact with people. So what we're creating here, you guys, in the follow-up and the setting those appointments is we're setting up the expectation that we're going to be there with them throughout the whole process, all along the way. And we're setting those appointments now so they can put it in their calendars, we can put it in ours. And then when we do follow up with them on those times, the customer's going to start to learn to trust us and know that when we say we're going to do something, we do it, and that we're very easy to work with, we're very trustworthy, and we're there to help them through their entire experience. You go to a department store, you go to Ulta or whatever some of those stores are called, the cashier that checks you out, you may never even see again. There's maybe somebody stocking shelves and they may know like brand names, but not what they do per se. And you probably won't see them again. You can't necessarily count on those people to be there when you have questions or concerns. And we live in a time where people want answers. They do a lot of research. There's a lot of things online. We have Chat GPT. There's lots of ways that they can get those answers, but they can also get them from us by us initiating those connections. And that's ultimately what human and humanity needs. There's so much going on in the world right now, and people need to have relationships and friendships and know that somebody cares about them. And the only way they're going to find those kinds of things out is in the follow up. Okay. So this is just a really cool script. It's got different things to say to people depending on which day you're going into the follow-up, if it's the 2 days, the 2 weeks, the 2 months. And of course, those follow-ups are for customers. You don't want to forget that if you're team building and you're wanting to build a team to grow into leadership or to move up to the next level, you're going to do following up with your team as well. So you want to treat your team with the same respect and integrity that you are going to treat your customers with. Hopefully your customers most of the time become your team members. And you want to set those standards up now so they can learn how to set those up for themselves as they go forward in their businesses. So as you're moving along in your business and your path, there's different kinds of terminology that you might hear. And sometimes this terminology can be a little bit confusing and maybe you don't fully understand it, and that's okay. That's why we have trainings and that's why we have tools that will help us. So the next one I wanted to kind of post out there is this is a really cool kind of like a one screenshot of understanding the active status. What does active status mean? What does qualified status mean? What does terminated? What does inactive? What do all these things mean and how does it affect me? So this is really cool. It breaks it all down for you so easy. You've got your active, you've got your inactive, and then you've got your terminated. It tells you exactly what those mean, and then it tells you what is available or not available depending on where you're at in this process. And this is especially helpful with goals and setting things and wanting to get to the finish line for our new people who maybe don't have all the answers yet. They haven't gone through all of the Mary Kay University modules yet, and they're just getting started. So here we are at the end of the year, and this could be very important to quite a lot of us. And so here, this is also posted there so you can know what those active and inactive statuses mean. And then this is also important to know if you're going to have people posting, or excuse me, if you're going to have people ordering from you, maybe off of your website or the app. This is one of the things that has a little bit of a confusion to it sometimes. And this we want to get really clear for people, especially if they have customers that aren't local to them and they don't carry a lot of inventory and their people are going to be ordering off of their website or the app. We need to make sure that they maintain an active status all the time so their website works. Okay, so that's kind of what this one is for. Again, I'm just kind of showing you what it looks like. So when you go on to the Facebook page, they're all there, and they're titled pretty good so you can tell what it is. And then I just want to spend most of our time going through this packet, and it's called the Power Business Management Plan. And it probably looks a little familiar to the one I did last time with the yellow bubbles. And so this one is going to kind of talk to us about running our business smooth and how we can keep it going all year. So again, this one's like a 13 or 14 page uh, packet, and you can print it out so you can go through it on your own time at your own pace and everything. But we're just going to kind of run through a little bit of it that's important to kind of get us going for the focusing on the finish, because that's really why we're here tonight. We've got the week left. And I know you sound like you guys are like, gosh, she keeps repeating herself, but I'm doing that on purpose. It sometimes takes people hearing something or seeing something 7 times before it resonates with them or it clicks. And so sometimes when you hear us be repetitious or being repetitive, that's the reason that we're doing that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go through this one a little bit. The second page of the flyer, or the full, what do you call that? Like a packet, a handout. These are going to be some questions that you can kind of fill out. And this is going to help you determine what you want to do with your business. And this is also a really good tool to share with your director. So your director can help you and coach you through what you want out of your business. So it is like asking you, what are your strengths? What are things that help you? What benefits your business? What are things that you would maybe like to improve or learn? If you're new in the business, you may not know the answer to that particularly related to Mary Kay, but you do know those kinds of things related to you as a person. How many hours a week are you willing to devote to your business? Everything we do in Mary Kay is mathematical. And people who love math, I think, pick that up a little bit faster and get it. Some people who don't like math maybe don't get that, but it truly is a mathematical equation. The statistics prove the more faces you see, the more appointments you make, the more follow-ups that you do, the more your business will grow, the more your customer base grows, the more your team building will grow. All of those things will happen. That's why they're so important to us and we talk about them all the time. What are some of the things you want to accomplish within your business this year? Okay, well, some of us who've been doing this all year maybe know, and we're a little more focused on what we want to do by the end of the year, but some of us are new and some of us are just trying to get this figured out. So spend some time thinking about those answers. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your organizational skills? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your time management skills? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your commitment to your goals? Even if you're new with Mary Kay, there's going to be things of this that you're going to know just because you're a human and you've been doing life for a little while. So you're going to be able to answer some of those questions just based on who you are as a person. And then you can kind of tweak it and dial it in and fine tune it a little bit as you go and grow within Mary Kay. The next page is talking about money management and inventory. And these are kind of like little tips that you need to know. So we have goals for the end of the year. We have sales goals and we have what's called the National Court of Sales, and then we have what's called the National Court of Sharing. Sharing is recruiting consultants to be on your team. One of the things that's really cool about Mary Kay in our business is we're not required to team build. There's absolutely nowhere does it say you have to recruit and build a team. What it does say is if you want to, you're more than welcome to do that. And we're going to help you with how to do it. And then we're going to monetarily incentivize you for helping us build team players. So when you're starting out, you're looking at this, you want to manage your money, you want to have inventory. Do you not want to have inventory? How much inventory do I want to have? So these are some of those business things that are going to help you with those questions to determine what you want to do in your business and how you want to run it. Again, this is all great stuff to work and go over with your director to be really clear on it. Sometimes, I don't know if everybody's heard of this, but a lot of times we talk about the 60-40, and that's like a split of percentages. So what that means is anytime we order anything from the company, and use it as inventory, use it as personal care products for ourselves, or use it as sellable items that we're going to sell to our customers. The first step is we're going to order inventory, or we're going to order product, we're going to place an order. And so anytime you sell anything, what you want to do is you want to take 60% of that sale and you want to reinvest it back into your business. The reason you're reinvesting 60% instead of 50%, which is what our commission is because you have a little bit of extra, a 10% kind of wiggle room in there. And that's going to help you with like your business supplies, your gas to get to meetings, maybe a professional attire, clothing that you're going to wear, events that you're going to go to, samples you're going to purchase, printing, marketing material out, those kinds of things. That 10% is going back into the business for business purposes. The 50% is basically like reordering your inventory as you're growing. So you might start out and you might not have any inventory, and that's totally fine. But as you're going through it and you're growing, maybe you're going to start to put a little bit and invest a little bit more. So you do have a little bit of inventory on hand. So you meet somebody and they're like, oh, hey, I love Mary Kay. I don't have a Mary Kay girl right now, but I need mascara. Do you have one? And you can say, yeah, I do. And so you don't have to make these grand, huge orders every single time or all of the time, unless that's what's relevant for your business. So this is going to show you some of those tools again. Okay. You're going to also keep in mind that anytime you do any kind of like hostess gifts, any of those kinds of things, that would be considered, like a business supply. So this page mostly talks about those kinds of things. And then we move into time management. And we're going to talk about all the different things that we need to do to get to our goals, to get them to finish and to be focused. So we talk about in Mary Kay IPAs, which stands for income producing activity. And that's really cool to kind of think about, because as you're growing and you're learning and you're moving to the next level, you want to be really intentional with your time. Time is the biggest thing that we have that we don't realize we have. There's so much all over the world right now. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And people are busy. I'm not trying to say that people aren't busy, but some people aren't as busy as they think they are. Sometimes they're just they're not good at managing their time. And I, for a fact, know that I struggle with that. That is definitely an area that I need reminders. I need all kinds of tools to help me with it. If I have to set reminders or alarms on my phone, different things like that, because I easily can get distracted and waste time. And I don't have time to waste right now. I'm focusing on the finish. So these are just some little tips and tricks to help you with time management. And then let's break out the time management into like a realistic goal. You go to a job and you have a job description, and then maybe you have job duties that you're supposed to do. I know when I worked in fast food in high school, there was like a piece of paper that was on the wall, and it would be like closing shift Mondays, and then it would kind of have like a little list of things that we would have to do. And then closing shift Tuesday, and then there was like opening shift Monday, opening shift, and there was like a little thing that told us what we were to do that day. What are we supposed to do, which is outside of the normal. Of course, while you're open and you're helping customers in a situation like that, you're taking their orders. But we all know that there's prep and there's cleanup. And so that's the same kind of concept you want to have with your Mary Kay business. You want to have a job description. You want to have times designated to do certain tasks. And then you want to make sure that you have the time set available for that. Everybody has time that they don't think they have when you really sit down and break out what you're doing and you really are intentional with your time and schedule it in. You can schedule in amazing fun things, self-care, family time, children time, grandchildren time, reading a book, taking a bath, any of those things that you do and that you want to do. I suggest you continue doing because those are good for your mental health and your physical health. But you also want to schedule that stuff in because it's important to you overall in the long run. And so don't discredit any of those things. Don't think that all of your time that you're awake has to be super intentional income producing activities, because it doesn't. But you do want to have time available to do the business that you want. So as you're going through this packet, you're trying to figure out how much time you have available to do these things, what goals you are going to do, and in the time that you have available to do these things, how are you going to get these goals accomplished? So you're going to break it all down. You're going to write it all out. You're going to go through the worksheets, and then you're going to have this page, which talks about the week of. You could make this one, you'd make it like 52 copies of this one, because there's 52 weeks in a year. Each page is 1 week, week of July 1st through July 7th. And then you go through your stuff, you schedule your time. I know we're in a digital world right now, but guys, sometimes having that paper is amazing, and it's such a game changer. I remember April talking about this in the beginning when I first joined Mary Kay, and I was like, oh, I don't want to print stuff out. I'm going to be digital. I don't want to do that. And then you know what, guys, I'm printing stuff out. It's so much easier. I put it into my digital calendar, and I still track things on my phone, and I do things that way. But just having stuff written down where you can grab it and you can write it and you can see it and you can learn it and memorize it, it's just so much easier. This one is the second page of that, which is kind of cool because this is talking about your weekend. So a lot of times in Mary Kay, we work our businesses outside of our normal job. So let's say we have a business that we go to for work in our job, and that's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Okay, so we want to build a Mary Kay business. So we're going to be doing nights and weekends, and that's okay too. So guess what? Here's your weekend page. You can fill out all that kind of stuff. I think it was April that talked about it in the beginning of her career with her Mary Kay journey. She had like 1 day a week that she could work on Mary Kay. And so she packed in everything she could, and she scheduled it, and she was very intentional with her time, and she grew her business. She was able to eventually let go of other part-time jobs and different things that she had, and she had more time for her family and her kids and stuff. And now look, I mean, April is a director. She knows what she's talking about. Denise knows what she's talking about. We've had these trainings, we hear these things over and over, and it's never going to go out of style or out of date. These kinds of things are always going to be important to us and to our businesses. Okay, so the 6 most important things, that's kind of a fun thing that Mary Kay kind of started. And at the end of your night, before you go to bed, you kind of focus on the 6 most important things you have to do the next day. Now you can do 6 most important things for Mary Kay, 6 most important things for your personal life, 6 most important things for blah, 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 blah. Or you can include all of it into one and just pick 6 things for the entire day. However you want to plan that kind of stuff is totally up to you. But the 6 most important things, again, is kind of like a number specific thing. That's a real good tracking way of getting things done where you're not overwhelmed, you're not underwhelmed, but it's a good balance of things that you need to get done. And it's okay if you don't get them all done and you carry them over to the next day. Then you know that the first thing on the next day is going to be maybe the 6th item that you didn't get to the day before. So then this page talks about our 6 most important things, and it goes over all of the reasons of why we do those things and how we do them, and to focus and all that kind of stuff, and to get different things accomplished for our goals. So at the bottom of it, it says prioritize the 6 most important things for each day. And this is, of course, if you're wanting to build a business in Mary Kay. So I'm just going to kind of highlight this part of it. You always want to get a new booking, coaching, an upcoming appointment. So we, as Mary Kay consultants, we're going to coach our hostesses, and we're going to help them to get the best out of their party that they can, and to make that experience as awesome as it can be for them and for their customers. We're team building if we want to. Customer service, doing our following up, 2, 2, and 2, and then working with your team if you are building a team. Those are kind of those are like the first 5 things that you want to focus on every day within your business. And then the last thing they call it is the ETE, which is everything else. And so if you kind of use that as your guide to plan your 6 most important things, and you break out all of your business stuff. So you've got a day, you've got sometimes an hour, you've got a week, a month, 12 months, a year, and you're going to put all this stuff into practice so you can get your goals ironed out. So when we get to the end of the month, the end of the year, we're really dialing in and we're able to focus on those goals, and we are able to finish the goals and give ourselves kind of like that, kudos and like, you go girl. So training and education, of course, this is the same thing we've talked about all the time. We're on these meetings every week because the training and the education is so important, in addition to building the relationships with each other and maybe getting that power buildup of that, positivity that we need, or that encouragement that we need. We also do need training. Things are good to revisit. They are good to have repetition. And then we always have new people coming into our Mary Kay world. And so we need to revisit those things so our new people are learning them and hearing them for the first time as well. Okay, so this is going to be all of the different things that you can do for training and education. It's going to give you a whole bunch of ideas on how to do that. Our website for Mary Kay on In Touch is amazing. We have so much education. We have so much training that's out there, and they're just in little blips of modules. And so if you have something specific you're wanting to learn, you can go easily find that module and just kind of work through it. And then, go forward with, what you were learning that for. So the next sheet in the packet is talking about if you're wanting to have the goal of a quarterly star. So we have 4 quarters in a year, and there is 3 months basically in each quarter. And so every month, if you were to place an order and keep yourself active all of the time and selling the products and meeting with your customers and doing all of the things, and you didn't know what you wanted your goals to be, and you didn't know how you were going to achieve a goal because you don't even know what goal you want, having a star consultant goal is a great place to start. Everything will go through you, and you'll grow and you'll hit all of the other goals as you focus on becoming a star consultant. So when I first started in Mary Kay, one of the things that Denise said was the Star Consultant is a program, and it goes the 15th day of the month to the 14th day of the next month, or the 16th day of the month to the 15th day of the month, or whatever. If you just keep the 15th day of the month in your head and always order by the 15th, you'll always be in track and tracking for the Star Consultant. That's the other program where you can get a lot of prizes and different fun things that the company pays for depending on your Star Consultant points that you have. So if you want to just start with a simple goal because you're not sure what to do, this is a great sheet to help you get to being a Star Consultant each time. The next one is kind of cool. I wanted to spend a little bit of time going through this one. So this page is also kind of going to be our inspirational close. So I do want to share a couple of these because they are words of wisdom from Mary Kay herself. So I'm going to hold this one out, even though it is next in line for the pages, and then I'm going to come back to that. So we did talk just a few minutes ago about income producing activities, your IPAs. This is a great handout that shows you some of those items. It lists them out here for you on what an IPA is, and then how to, do it and what to do going forward. Following up. Following up is not an IPA. You might think it is, but it actually is not. Paperwork, organizing your product, ordering products, setting your goals, filling out your weekly sheets, reading, creating and mailing packets, making copies, cleaning your office, bookkeeping, labeling products or brochures, practicing your dialogue, talking in the mirror, recording videos and watching them to critique yourself how you talk, addressing birthday cards or different things. None of those our IPAs, but those are also very important to our business. And so you want to remember to schedule some time in there for those too. Every moment of you being awake doesn't have to be an IPA. The other things happen too. And these are also the really cool things that you can kind of delegate to someone else. If you have like a teen or a tween in your house, or you have in your neighborhood, or you have young girls or whatever that want the product, but maybe they can't afford it themselves. I have quite a few girls that help me with this, and they've been helping me with it this whole time. And now one of them just turned 18 and joined my team this month. And so you guys, there's intention and there's reason behind some of those things. And so she's had 6 years from 12 years old all the way up until 18 helping me with my business. And so now she knows a lot of the other side of it. And so she's going to get off to a great start with her business. And then this one is probably my favorite one in the whole entire packet. This is a nice little worksheet on how to quit your job and support yourself with your Mary Kay income. That could be a goal that you have. Maybe the goal that you're focusing on the most is not necessarily the next level or prize you're going to get within the Mary Kay business. Maybe your Mary Kay business and your goals are going to get you to a place where you can quit a corporate job, or a job you don't like, a job you don't want to be at, a job that doesn't give you all of those feelings of love and joy and all of the things that you want to have out of life. So the last page is a really cool worksheet that helps you determine if that you want to quit your job and you need to replace your salary. How are you going to do that? And it's really cool. It's just a little math worksheet. Okay, so we are at 7:31. I talked probably pretty fast, and I did just kind of an overview of everything. And I want to go over the words of wisdom and stuff from Mary Kay Ash, but I also want to answer any questions. And I hope you feel like you got something out of this to get to the end of your year and your goals. But the truth is, you just want to focus on finishing whatever the goal is that you set for yourself. However, you can accomplish that and give yourself validation is the whole point of tonight's meeting. We really want to meet you and help you grow and get you there in whatever way you want to be there. And that's why some of us that are building teams and moving into leadership are here to be leadership, to be mentors, to help you to grow in your business and figure out what you want as a business. And you know what? If you only want to do this as a hobby, that's amazing too. And if you only want to do it as personal use, that's amazing too. You can still have goals in those types of businesses. If you're just going to be a personal use consultant, you still need to figure out how often you need to order your own products. So all of these things and all of these tools are still very relevant to that in whatever level of the business that you're in and wherever you're at in the season of your life to move your business. And it's going to ebb and it's going to flow. And that's just how life works. That's how jobs work. But you want to really think about these things and really understand and take Mary Kay on as a business, as a job, if that's what you want to do as your goals and grow within the company. You know, there's people out there right now that are national sales directors, and we see it in the Applause magazine all the time. Sometimes these people are making more in a month than I made in an entire year. And there's no reason that any one of us can't have that if that's what we want to have with our life. I really am in a season in life where I just want to kind of live on a cruise ship and work remotely from a cruise ship. Okay, well, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to work through that worksheet and I'm going to share it with Denise and we're going to coach on it and we're going to get me to that point because you know what? I'm 46. Why not dream about living on a cruise ship and going for it? So, okay, I'm going to take questions and then I'm going to close with some of these words from Mary Kay. Anybody got any
I just
questions?
want to make a comment. You know, I know that this is a lot, but the thing that I love about it, it's helping to wrap up the year, but it's also helping you to focus forward on, you know, we're in a brand new year in just a week. So I think it's great because we have a lot of new people you know, so it's kind of reviewing a lot of things that sometimes get missed in the beginning.
Mhm. Yep.
Totally agree. Everything that you've shared was very vitally important to keep your business on track. And most people don't have an MBA, you know, in business. They don't know how to run a business. And these are very important things that business owners do. So if you want to work smart and not hard, follow what Kelli said. She just laid it all out for you.
Mhm.
Great job.
Yep.
And it's
Yay.
cute.
It is. And I love Shani's office. That's where I got it all. I got them all on there and I saved them and I printed them out. And I'm going to work through the packets. I worked through the yellow one that we did a little while ago. I'm going to work through this one. I've got new goals and everything for next year. So I really want to get this dialed in, and I'm in a new season with my business. So it's perfect time for me. And that's the other thing that's always fun is it seems like us as the ones that come on here and do some of these trainings, it always seems like the training we end up getting the topic for to train on is what we ourselves need in that moment. And it's just kind of really magical how that happens. I know this is a mathematical business, but sometimes stuff is magical.
I was screen
Any
sharing
other
all the
questions?
pages. Could you see them?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Doing
they're
that.
all on the Facebook page, so you guys can go download them. I think I uploaded 7 different files. So they're all on there. You can print them out. If you have any questions, if you can't find them, reach out to us. I'd be happy to help you with it. And then maybe we'll put that link, Shani's office link, on the page again one more time if people want to go onto her website too and look at stuff, because there's so much stuff on there and they all are amazing, and it accompanies stuff on Mary Kay in Touch. So we want to remember too, our very most important asset is our thanks Denise, is our Mary Kay in Touch. There's so much information on there too, but Shani's office also helps us with lots of stuff for our business. So okay, if there isn't any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of these that kind of spoke to my heart. The first one is, if you think you can, you can. Say that again to yourself. If you think you can, you can. That's pretty simple.
Mhm.
But here's the other side of that. If you think you can't, you're right. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to any other person in the entire world. And what we say matters. What we say to ourselves matters. And what we say to ourselves is what our brain takes as factual. And our brain does not know sarcasm. And this has been one of the biggest things that I've needed to learn for myself, because I have like a jokester kind of sense of humor, sarcasm kind of personality. And I have to realize that when I'm talking to myself, our brain isn't able to understand sarcasm. And so I have to really remember to be kind to myself. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. Like, that's pretty amazing. Kind of like one of those aha moments, like obviously, but really think about that. Like, how easy is it to finish up goals and do deadlines when you're not excited about it? I know for a fact I can reorganize my bathroom like 20 times before I would go file something. I hate filing. That is like the absolute worst for me. And when I worked in the banking industry, like I would do anything I could to avoid having to go in the file room. I just hated it, hated it, hated it. So again, I'm not going to really achieve filing if I don't have enthusiasm with it. Give yourself something to work towards. That's what we're talking about tonight. And always do that. No matter what season in life you're in, no matter what you're doing in your life, always work towards something. That's how we have hope. That's how we get to the next place. God does not ask your ability or your inability. He asks for your availability. That's pretty cool. God didn't have time to create a nobody, just a somebody. I believe that each of us has God-given talents within us waiting to be brought to fruition. Each person is unique and special. And a lot of times we attract the kind of people that we need to help enhance some of the things that maybe aren't our strengths. And I've seen that a million times over. Like I said, I don't like doing the filing, like a lot of that like back office kind of like super deep dive kind of work. That is not my strength, and I don't get joy doing that. But those things are still important to me and my business, and different things. Learning is always important to us. And so having a way to learn in a way that I could get excited about it helps, but also having somebody on my team or in my circle of people that does thrive on that is amazing. I can't tell you how many things I've learned from all of you guys in different ways for different times that I wouldn't have probably sought out on my own. I should have maybe, but I didn't. Most people live and die with their music still unplayed because they never dared to try. That's kind of sad. The greatest pollution problem we face today is negativity. Eliminate the negative attitude and believe you can do anything. Replace if I can, or I hope, or maybe with I can, I will, and I must. Denise is amazing at talking about affirmations and how we can talk to ourselves and how we can do these different things. And let me tell you, recording your own affirmation in your own voice and playing it back every day, it does hit differently. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I trust what Denise tells me and I do it, and it is a game changer, you guys. It totally is different. I'll just do a couple more of these. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the game. So keep that in mind too, as you're moving up the leadership ladder, if that's one of your goals, and you're recruiting people and you're building a team. And even if you're not building a team, but you have hostesses and customers, they're looking to you to see how you do things and what you do. And you might be inspiring people that you have no idea you are. Okay, last one. Don't limit yourself. Many people limit themselves to what they think they can do. You can go as far as your mind lets you. What you believe, remember, you can achieve. If the goal's not big enough to kind of make you a little like, oh, I don't know, then it's probably not big enough. Get out of your comfort zone. Do the things that maybe are hard or intimidating or scary, and then watch yourself thrive as you achieve those kinds of things and you finish those goals. So that's all I have for tonight.
Fantastic, Kelly. Thank you so much. That was
You're
amazing.
welcome.
That
I
was,
love it.
you love it. You get to do a lot more of this now.
I know.
Very good. Well, let's really get out there and just take some of this to heart and just make it a fantastic final week of the seminar year, everybody.
Yes. Go talk to people, say hi, build relationships, get customers. Awesome, awesome way to finish out the seminar year.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Night. Have a great night.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.